covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
New tonight, one Redding school is expanding its campus. We'll show you the school's future plans. Plus, big changes are coming to the rundown Matador Motel. Coming up, see what's being done to transform this landmark that's seen better days. But first, we're tracking widespread poor air quality in the valley as wildfires continue to burn. In fact, here is a live look from the Alert California Sugarloaf Shasta County camera. You can see the smoke from the wildfires burning in Siskiyou counties. Let's talk to Howie right now about the air quality.
Yeah, it's deteriorated greatly since last night, Alan, with a shift in our winds to out of the northwest. As we're seeing those now, all that area is getting pushed down really from north to south and into the valley. Now, it was concentrated to the north last night, and it wasn't horrible. It was yellow moderate, but now, as you look, we are at unhealthy for sensitive people in the reds, numbers into the 100s really throughout Chico and everywhere in the south, more southern part of the area. You go north, it's still pretty bad all around Redding in the yellow, moderate air. So overall, our air quality is really deteriorated in the last 24 hours due to the smoke from these fires. And here's the smoke right here. You're seeing it getting pushed out of the northwest and all now congregating further south in the area. Thus, you're seeing the unhealthy for sensitive people air quality index in the red I showed you a moment ago. And to go with it, it's probably one of our hottest days of the year, and really it's going to be our hottest week of the year. And we'll talk more about that coming up just a few minutes from now, Alan.
The green fire, which is spreading that smoke into our area. A large evacuation warning is in place for areas east and northeast of Shasta Lake. That's Lakehead Zone 1448 in the area of the Shasta Trinity National Forest. And there's a live look at the smoke over the mountain from the Alert California Round Mountain Shasta camera. The National Weather Service has issued an extreme heat warning for the area starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. The fire has grown more than 5,000 acres total at this point and still zero containment. Firefighters continue to work on the Summit fire, which remains the most active part of the Marble complex. Fire officials say the Summit fire has spread across 524 acres with 11% containment. The Jacket fire, on the other hand, has been quiet, 74% containment with over 46 acres burned, much smaller, much better situation there. Firefighters are transitioning to patrol status on that fire. Operations have stabilized. Now, evacuation orders are in place for 4 zones, including Siskiyou 1414, Siskiyou 2100A, 1703, and 1708. The U.S. Forest Service has issued an aircraft advisory for Shasta Lake because of wildfires in the area. Forestry officials say specialized aircraft will be pulling water from the lake. If you see an aircraft while you're on the lake approaching, just keep a safe distance. Do not enter the work area. Now, they say that getting too close not only risks your safety, but could also delay critical fire response. A traffic stop for a vehicle with expired registration turned into a drug bust in Chico. It was Monday, just before 7 p.m. on Bruce Street. Deputies said drugs were visible inside, so they conducted a search. They say they found methamphetamine, pills, cash, cell phones, and a digital scale. Deputies arrested Stephen Roberts and Crystal Shelton for felony drug possession and transportation of drugs for sale. Well, we now know the name of the man that Chico police are searching for in Monday's deadly shooting at the alternative homeless camp. He's 51-year-old Gerald Mikey Thompson. Police say he lives at the camp but has been on the run since Monday night. Officers were doing follow-up near the scene today on Eaton Road between Cohasset and Burnap Avenue when they learned that he might be in the area. Well, despite an extensive search that lasted several hours, they were unable to locate him. If you see Thompson, or if you know where he is, police say don't approach him, but call 911. Crews have begun clearing debris from the Bidwell Mansion wreckage in Chico. Action News Now reporter Nathan Espindula visited the site today and shows us what's in store for the fire-ravaged landmark.
It's one of those icons, you know, if you think of Chico, there are certain things you think about. You think about our downtown, you think about Chico State, you think about Sierra Nevada, you think about Bidwell Park, you think about these things like the Bidwell Mansion as part of Chico.
Chico City Council member Mike O'Brien says the Bidwell Mansion was one of the most important landmarks in Chico. He told me losing the mansion was a huge hit, and the debris removal brings him mixed emotions.
It's tough to see. It's tough even now for me to come back, months after the fact and see the Bidwell Mansion like it is, but we know it has to be cleaned up. That debris has to be removed before they take the next step and see what they're going to do. So that part is important. That part is good, but it's still bittersweet.
The historic landmark was burnt down by an arsonist in December of 2024. Now, 7 months later, Matt Teague, the district superintendent for California State Parks, Northern Butte District, says he's glad this day has arrived. Teague says the hazardous debris cleanup should be done by the end of July. He says that consultants will do structural assessments to decide the next steps. Beyond that, Teague also told me that assessments will also be done by state park cultural and historical staff to see if anything can be saved from the ruins. Even though a lot of time has passed since the Bidwell Mansion behind me here burnt down, some still remember the exact feeling they had when they learned of the news.
When I first heard of it and it was still dark out, it was like a kick in the gut. It really was. It was one of those visceral feelings that you don't always have about everything. I've seen a few things in my career and in my life. That one had a visceral feeling in my gut, and I'll never forget that.
However, despite his sadness, O'Brien tells me he has hope for a positive future.
Well, at least we're getting some progress done by removing the debris. What that leads to next, we'll find out. I'm hoping something positive.
In Chico, Nathan Espindula, Action News Now.
Kevin Carlson, you'll recall, pled no contest to starting the fire that destroyed the mansion, and he was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Well, the Esplanade in Chico is kind of like the Strip to Las Vegas, a little more classy, I suppose, but it's a source of pride, history, and beauty. But for years, one glaring blemish has stood in sharp contrast, the Matador Motel. But as Action News Now reporter Jerry O'Lennon tells us, get ready for a Matador Motel makeover.
Overgrown with weeds, its pool filled with debris, and a refrigerator sitting ominously nearby, the once iconic Matador Motel has long been a neighborhood eyesore.
The Esplanade is the heart of Chico, and the Matador has been there for such a long time. I would just love to see it either restored or replaced with something bigger and better.
Across the street, salon owner Tennille Gates shares that sentiment.
I think it's a really cool old building, it has a lot of history. I hope somebody buys it and does something cool with it again.
But here's the good news. The Matador Motel has a new owner who plans on sprucing it up. However, the city of Chico informs Action News Now that this is historic, and therefore the remodel must meet certain higher standards like using appropriate materials. So it may take some time to get this looking really nice. The new owners are out of Los Angeles and want to convert the Matador into a boutique hotel, small, stylish, and outfitted with modern amenities. While it may be an eyesore today, the Matador Motel could soon reclaim its place as a jewel of the Esplanade, a testament to how even Chico's oldest landmarks can get a new lease on life. In Chico, Jerry O'Lennon, Action News Now.
As for the current state of disrepair, cleanup is scheduled to begin Monday, with renovations expected to take about 10 weeks. Well, new tonight, we are investigating a reported manhunt in the Bangor area. The Butte County Sheriff's Office confirmed that they were, in fact, called to provide assistance to the CHP in the search for two people. No one's giving any information about who those two people are, or why they're wanted, or why they're searching for them. But the Sheriff's Office says that the call went out late this morning. It's actually, the CHP is in charge of this investigation. We've reached out to them. We're working to get information about what's going on there. 5 modular buildings were delivered to the Reading School of the Arts this morning. It's to help the charter school have a place to teach high school students. Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield was there for the assembling of the temporary high school.
After running into some issues with trying to get a high school built in time for this fall, the Reading School of the Arts turned to Reading Company US Offsite to help construct a temporary one for them. The 5 modular building project helps support creative learning, while also showing how fast schools like RSA can grow quickly and cost effectively.
We can build the units in a warehouse while guys come out here and do the groundwork, and then we can come in and just set the units instead of building out here on the foundation. So rain or shine, we're able to work in our warehouse and get these things made.
Each module arrives on flatbed trailers before this giant crane right here lifts it up and sets them side by side, creating 5 one-story buildings in the process.
U.S. Offsite only landed the job 6 months ago and began constructing the modulars shortly after. Plans called for crews to set up all the modulars today, with the temporary high school expected to open in time for the school year this fall.
That is just what's awesome about how quickly this process gets done and how fast we're able to go from building in the factory to you seeing it here now at RSA.
For Reading School of the Arts' 629 students, the new high school allows them to stay at the charter school their entire student lives if they choose, with classes for everyone from kindergarten to 12th grade. The new temporary campus will be open to 9th to 12th graders starting this year. RSA plans to build and open a permanent high school on its campus before 2030.
It feels really fulfilling to be able to serve the community, to be able to give something to RSA, knowing that students are going to be able to use this to learn.
Reporting in Reading, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
And as Blake said, 629 students are enrolled at the Reading School of the Arts for this year. The student-to-teacher ratio is 22 to 1. According to state test scores, 38% of students are proficient in math, 57% being proficient in reading. A major road construction is underway on the Ridge. We'll show you the work that's being done. Plus new at 6, Glenn County first responders are honoring one of their K-9s. We'll show you more in 2 minutes.